Good evening, everyone. I'm Deborah Juss, the Chief Executive Officer of Willoughby City Council, and we're here tonight for the official opening of the solo exhibition Resonant Flows by Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen. And on occasions like this, when we're celebrating both contemporary art and ancient origins of art, it's really important for us to acknowledge the traditional inhabitants of the land on which we stand, the Aboriginal people, their spirits and their ancestors. We acknowledge the very vital contribution that Indigenous people and cultures have made and continue to make to this nation that we share, Australia. It's my pleasure to welcome our Mayor, Gail Giles-Gidney, our wonderful artist, Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen, who's created this absolutely stunning exhibition, Cindy, and special guests that we have with us as well. So Rachel Chiang, who's the manager and curator of the Gallery Lane Cove and Creative Studios, Simon Chan, Art Atrium Director, Ansi Quinn, who is an artist exhibiting in the Lunar North Confluence, as is Fan Dongwang. And we have two artists who are exhibiting in the foyer of the council building, Pamela Leon and Sion Cho. So a special welcome to everyone joining our event this evening on YouTube and Facebook Live. This is certainly a change in the way that we hold exhibitions here at Willoughby and openings of such exhibitions, but as we all know, we're making exceptions and accommodating the pandemic and social distancing as well. But we are still very thrilled that you can join us despite the current circumstances. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Mayor of Willoughby, Gail Giles-Gidney, to say a few words about this wonderful exhibition.
Good evening, everyone. Ni hao. Welcome to the City of Willoughby, and we're absolutely thrilled to be here this evening, and it's wonderful to see you all socially distanced and this fantastic exhibition. Cindy, congratulations. We're thrilled that you would have this solo exhibition here in the City of Willoughby on the time of the Chatswood Year of the Ox and also the Lunar North Confluence. There are two different coinciding events happening at the same time, and I want to give a special shout out to Rachel as well, who we're going to hear from shortly, and she's going to talk to us about the importance of Australian Asian artists and how we're going to foster them. So we're really looking forward to hearing from you, Rachel. Thank you for attending. But there's so many other people in the room as well. Simon, we're pleased to see you back here as well. Pam, lovely artists and everyone who is interested in the Australian art scene. Very, very pleased. And I'm particularly thrilled, Cindy, that you've put this particular exhibition here on because it's very close to my heart. It's called Resonant Flows, and because it's a lot of water themed that you've really brought into your exhibition. I'm a great walker and a lover of our bushland, particularly the waterways. I'm very fortunate to live in Castle Crag, near one of the walking tracks which you've told me that you often frequent. And I'm a regular walker also at Harold Reid Reserve. In fact, I was there just on Tuesday, and I probably walk that track 2 or 3 times a week, and it is such a beautiful spot in the City of Willoughby, and I really love the way that you've been able to capture the beauty, tranquility and harmony that is expressed in the bushland and the way that it interrelates to our waterways. So thank you so much for being part of our Lunar New Year Festival. Of course, it's a very important festival for the City of Willoughby. We have around 25% of our population who are Chinese in origin. And so the Lunar New Year is a wonderful way not only to engage with people of Chinese of origin, but really have a cross-cultural experience, really creating and fostering a cross-cultural understanding and harmony. So, of course, art is a great way of bridging that, and we're very, very pleased that you're part of that. And if this is one of 3 exhibition spaces that we have. So we're in the art space in the concourse. We also have the incinerator art space, fantastic exhibition there, Precious Treasures by Guan Wei and some artists that he's brought together. So I'd encourage you to go and have a look at that, as well as the art space that we have in the foyer at Council in Victor Street. We've got local artists there, so much to see and do. But that's just a snapshot of what we've got to offer during our festivities over the next 3 weeks. We have a comedy festival, we've got a cultural experience, we've got lion dancing, we've got the golden markets, so many things to do here in the city of Chatswood. So I would encourage you all to please get onto our website and have a look at that. And also food is what Chatswood is known for. We've got an interactive map that enables you to experience all the lovely eating experiences that we have here in the city of Chatswood as well. So I do want to acknowledge some of our wonderful partners. We have from the Australian Institute. They're really been a fantastic partner for us, as well as SBS. Often we can't do these things without a partnership program, so we're very pleased to have the collaboration there, and we're very grateful to them as well, because they really have put a lot into making sure that we've got the very best of things happening right here in the city of Willoughby. Well, without any further ado, I think we will hand back now. We're about to hear from Rachel. And Deborah, are you going to be introducing Rachel for me? Yep. Thank you.
Folks, I think we have to share the secret that the microphone is disappearing, getting sanitised and wiped, and then reappearing. So it might look a little bit odd as we're transitioning between speakers. But thank you very much, Mia Gale. It's certainly my pleasure now to introduce Rachel Kiang, who's going to talk to us about Lunar North Confluence. And Rachel is the manager and curator of Gallery Lane Cove and Creative Studios.
Good evening, everyone. It brings me great pleasure to be here on the occasion of the opening of Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen's beautiful solo exhibition, Resonant Flows. This is curated and programmed as a celebration of Lunar New Year, as well as a new partnership between 4 galleries. While Resonant Flows stands strong as an engaging contemporary art exhibition, it is also part of a larger initiative. Lunar North Confluence is an umbrella project of 4 exhibitions across Art Space on the Concourse, Incinerator Art Space, Gallery Lane Cove, and Macquarie University Art Gallery. It brings together 4 galleries with different approaches to the same objectives. First, to highlight and amplify the scope of practice of Australian Chinese artists across generations. Secondly, to represent the importance of Asian communities in the North Shore area of Sydney. And thirdly, to enhance the voice and presence of the arts and cultural practice on the North Shore. Sydney has a wealth of artists practicing within an Asian context. These may be artists of Asian heritage born in Australia, those who immigrated from Asia, or artists who are practicing and or living across both Asia and Australia. These conditions foster an environment where Asian frames of reference are assimilated with Anglo and European perspectives within contemporary art practice. Such dynamic influences enrich the creative fabric of our city. Now, presentation of the artworks and stories of Asian Australian artists are vital in and of itself due to the reasons previously outlined, but even more so in local government areas with a significant number of residents with Asian heritage. Australian Chinese communities in particular are well established in Willoughby City, as Mayor Gill has pointed out earlier, and indeed in the city of Ryde, where Macquarie University Art Gallery is situated. It is within this framework that the Lunar North Confluence project was developed. In addition to the wonderful work of Cindy Chen at Art Space on the Concourse, the other exhibitions are Precious Treasures, a multimedia group show curated by Guan Wei, which opened at Incinerator Art Space last night, Glass Armors, a solo exhibition of breathtaking artworks focusing on the medium of glass by N.C. Chin, which also opened last night at Gallery Lane Cove, and Pandemic Bodies, featuring a new series of paintings by Fan Dong Wang at Macquarie University Art Gallery, opening in late February. Now, if you have been paying attention to the speeches, you will realize that what I've just highlighted are a broad range of different mediums that are being explored in each of these different exhibitions. Now, further to each exhibition, an online panel discussion held on Saturday, 20th of February at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time will delve further into the various visual and conceptual strategies of exhibiting Australian Chinese artists. I encourage those who are interested in learning more and participating in this discussion to join us online. I would like to congratulate the artist Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen and curator Cassandra Hart-Laurie for an intellectually and aesthetically engaging exhibition. In the context of lunar north confluence, the works in Resonant Flows are the most experimental in its processes of expanded drawing. Cindy incorporates sonic and digital elements with the analog and the activity of drawing. Wearing microphones on her wrists, Cindy extends sound recordings to include her bodily movements in relation to nature, then translating that data into drawings. Like the practice of other artists in lunar north confluence, there is a considered, and I like to emphasize this, it's definitely considered, integration of traditional forms and materials with contemporary Western art concepts and processes. In the instance of Cindy, she uses Chinese ink and paper with sonic manipulations of the Japanese suminagashi process. In all, the bodies of works in Resonant Flows have an ethereal quality, even as they reflect various fluvial states. The exhibition experience is at once calming and meditative, and an embrace of the interconnected nature of our existence. And I strongly encourage you to come and visit the exhibition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and I can only reinforce that we should visit all 4 galleries. It's now my pleasure to talk with our artist, so Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen. I'm just making my way over to Cindy now to look at one of the first artworks. Now, Cindy, we've got an amazing installation here, combination of drawing, of the video installation. We've got sound as well, but we've had to turn the sound off for the time being, and a combination of media. Now, I believe it takes a lot of influence from the local area, and in fact, you could even say is fashioned by the local area as well.
Yes, that's right, Deborah. So this body of work actually occurred through interacting with bodies of water that have actually run through places where I have lived and worked and where I currently live now. So this particular two pieces here, this particular piece in the middle is called Fluvial Dynamics, Rain and Tidal Pools, and the piece just behind is a video piece from the Resonant Flows series. And both of these pieces were actually made at Harold Reed Reserve, where I do love to go walking. And the waters of Middle Harbour, the shapes of the tidal pools, waiting for rain in that place, listening to the birds, they were all part of the creation of these pieces.
That's absolutely fabulous, Cindy. We're very proud of our local environment. We claim Cindy as a local artist, so we love to see it celebrated. And the pieces that I was before were made during rain, weren't they?
Yes, that's right. So most of the pieces here were really about anticipating rain and waiting for rain and looking out and feeling the rhythms and cycles of water from rain through to the waterways that run through and enliven our Sydney area.
Fantastic. Now we're just going to move across to another piece where Cindy's going to give us some further insight. Now, Cindy, I'm absolutely stunned by this piece of work because it's shaped by sound.
Yes, that's right. So sound is quite integral to my practice. I work in an experimental, expanded drawing practice that also includes creating what I call sound feedback drawing compositions. And in working at Harold Reed and also around in a few other rivers, I actually use speakers, use microphones placed on my wrists, and I gesture in order to actually record the sounds of, say, cicadas, which there are a lot of currently, birds, the sounds of water lapping against the shore. They all are recorded through my microphones, come out of speakers and are bounced off rocks, and the shapes of tidal pools are perfect for this. And this creates quite extreme frequencies of both high and low range, and these sustained frequencies were actually used to vibrate ink and water to create these pieces that you see here.
Now, this is a very contemporary piece of artwork, but it has got those influences from the traditional Chinese and Japanese painting and kind of ink practices.
Yes, that's right. So for over 12 years now, I've actually been very strongly influenced by Chinese and Japanese ink and calligraphy practices. So that includes the paper and also the forms and structures of scrolls that I've reimagined in the Fluvial Dynamics series. And in this series here, I actually play with hand ground ink that I use, and a technique which is over 1,000 years old. It's a Japanese ink marbling technique called suminagashi. And I've used this technique to actually visualize the energy of sound as it interacts with water. So what you're seeing here are actually patterns of turbulence.
And so what we're seeing is the birth and the fading of sound in these actual fabulous artworks here.
Yes, that's right, Deborah.
And it's not something that an unskilled practitioner can actually achieve. I think there's a lot of skill involved.
Yes, definitely. And I think I still have a lot of room to improve on. I really do want to try and perfect this technique.
Well, these are just fabulous, beautiful, delicate, but powerful images. So I really encourage you to come and see this exhibition. Thank you so much, Cindy. Yeah, thank you. So this now means, like I've had the pleasure this evening to actually have a discussion with Cindy and to be walked around the works. You're going to get that same opportunity on Saturday the 13th, where Cindy will be in discussion with Willoughby City Council's curator. So you're welcome to participate in that event as well. And again, I just can't reinforce enough what fantastic partnerships and collaborations have brought together 4 separate spaces and collections. So I just encourage you to jump on the website and have a good look at those and get around to those galleries. If you can't get around, we've actually recorded this evening's event, but we've also got, besides the video, we also have a digital display of the artworks. But really, nothing compares with actually coming and physically seeing them. So we've got, just a reminder there, that we've got an exhibition at the Incinerator Art Space, at Gallery Lane Cove, at Macquarie University Art Gallery. Plus we have a Year of the Ox exhibition, which is part of our Chatswood Year of the Ox Festival, which is in the foyer of the council building, which is 31 Victor Street here in the CBD, and it's entitled New Beginnings, and I'd really encourage you to get along and see that too. I walk past that each day I go to work, and it's very striking, and like all good art, makes me puzzle and think as part of it. So if you'd like to find out more and you're lucky enough to be here this evening, you can talk to our staff, or if you see them at one of the exhibitions. Otherwise, I encourage you to hop online. But thank you very much if you've joined us this evening online. We really appreciate that. Thank you again to Mayor Gale, to our guest Rachel Keong, guest speaker, and our artist Cindy Yuen-Zhe Chen as well. So enjoy, and thank you very much for your company this evening.